Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest, most monumental, most argued over songs in all of rock and roll history, Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven, right? I mean, everybody knows the song, but what it's actually about? Well, that's a whole different story. So, what is the deal with this song? Is it some kind of mystical fairy tale, a shot at corporate greed, or something else entirely? Well, that's what we're going to dig into. We're going to tear this thing apart, but not just by looking at the lyrics. The real secret, the real story, is actually hidden in the way the music itself is built. So, let's get into it. The whole idea here is that the song is literally built like a stairway. The form is the meaning. It's not just a song about a stairway. In a way, the song itself is the stairway. Just to set the scene a little bit, this thing drops in 1971, first played live, then released on the iconic Led Zeppelin IV. And from there, wow, it just exploded. It became way more than a song, you know? It's like this cultural landmark, this total anthem that's got all this myth and mystery wrapped around it. And that brings us to the core idea we're working with. Form equals meaning. Think about how the song works. It starts out super quiet and intimate, right? And then it just keeps building and building and building until you get to this massive epic climax. Well, that's not just for show. That's structure. It's actually performing the story. It's taking you on the exact journey the lyrics are talking about. You can really break it down into three main steps. First, you've got that quiet acoustic beginning. Then, things start getting denser, more layers, and this feeling of doubt starts to creep in. And finally, bam, the whole thing just erupts into this huge, almost religious rock anthem. So that's exactly how we're going to walk through it. We're climbing the stairway one step at a time. All right, so let's start at the bottom of the stairs. Act 1, The Lady Buying Heaven. So the song kicks off with this very memorable character, right? A lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. Now, this isn't some real person. She's a symbol. She stands for a whole way of thinking. And right away, the song sets up this huge conflict. On one side, you have this idea of consumerism. You can just buy meaning. Everything's about gold, certainty, possession. But on the other side, you've got real spirituality. And that's about listening, searching for truth, and yeah, even doubt. It's about looking inward. And here's the thing. As soon as we hear about how certain this lady is, the narrator throws in a curveball. Ooh, and it makes me wonder. Just like that. That one little line completely pulls the rug out from under her worldview. It's the first crack in the foundation, suggesting her path might not be as simple as she thinks. Okay, so we're moving up the stairway now, and this is where things start to get tricky. The music gets thicker, more complex, and the lyrics, they start filling up with all these warnings and confusing signs. The path is definitely not clear anymore. All of a sudden, the world of the song is just packed with these weird, ambiguous messages. You know, whispers on the wind, a piper trying to get you to follow him. There's this feeling that something's not quite right. Nothing is straightforward. These aren't street signs. They're more like riddles you have to figure out for yourself. And this next line is just so crucial. There's a sign on the wall, but she wants to be sure, because, you know, sometimes words have two meanings. See? The lady needs certainty. Her whole mindset is based on getting what you pay for. She just can't deal with a world that's complicated, where things aren't black and white. And then we get this, a direct correction of the very first line of the song. Remember, all that glitters is gold? Well, now the narrator flips it. It's not all gold. This is basically the moral center of the entire song. It's a flat-out rejection of the idea that what matters is only what you can buy. This leads us to a huge moment in the song, the metaphor of the two paths. Yes, there are two paths you can go by. And look, this isn't just about good versus evil. It's about two different ways of living. There's the easy path, the one the lady is on, buying stuff, wanting guarantees. And then there's the harder path, the one that involves asking tough questions and doing the real work on yourself. And that brings us to the final climb, the epic rock sermon. We've been on this journey for about 6 minutes, and then in the last couple of minutes, everything changes. The song just absolutely transforms. So for most of the song, we've been hearing a story about her, right? About the lady. It feels kind of like a fable or a myth. We're just watching from a distance as this character goes on her journey. But then, everything flips. The song stops being about her and becomes a warning for you. It suddenly turns and points right at the listener. It's not her story anymore. It's about your head, your soul. It gets personal. Fast. And this is where it all comes together. The narrator, the lady, and you, the listener. It all collapses into one. We become a collective we. The story isn't just something you're hearing about anymore. Suddenly, you're in it. It becomes our story. And right as the music hits its absolute peak, that incredible guitar solo, we get this final urgent message. There's still time to change the road you're on. It's not just a nice thought, it's almost a command. The journey isn't finished. The choice is now in your hands, and you can still make it. So why does this song still hit so hard after all this time? What's the takeaway here? Well, it's really about how all these pieces fit together so perfectly. When you boil it all down, you're left with two really powerful interpretations that actually work together. On one hand, it's a critique of consumerism, a warning not to treat your soul like a shopping trip. And on the other hand, it's about a journey of initiation. It's a story about learning to navigate a confusing world and find meaning for yourself without any easy answers. And that's the real genius of it, I think. Its masterpiece is what you could call controlled ambiguity. The song never just hands you the answer. It doesn't tell you what to think. Instead, it creates this whole world of symbols and questions, and it forces you to get involved. You have to participate in finding the meaning. So, in the end, Stairway to Heaven isn't really about getting to heaven at all. It's about the climb. It shows you the two paths, it tells you what's at stake, and then it just stops. It leaves the final choice, the biggest choice, completely up to you. So the real question this song leaves hanging in the air is, what are you listening for?